So this went on for a few weeks, and this girl had a boyfriend who I grew up with. And at the time, this guy was a scary dude. He was fucking working with some dudes that were not doing good things. And he called me one day. He's like, can we meet for coffee? Now, I grew up with this dude. I grew up going to his house. I knew his family. I mean, I knew his dad. I knew his mom. And when we met, he was laughing about it. He's like, you know, that's great that you're getting a little vig out of there, blah, 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 blah. But my girlfriend's getting in trouble. And I go, well, have her start stealing. I go, what the fuck is wrong with you? What, am I the only one there stealing? All these bars are filled with thiefy fucking bartenders, you know. They can't barely make the rent because these bartenders are stealing with 3 hands. Well, that's not the school she came from. I said, listen, man, whatever. You know, we left on a good note. I mean, this guy was my brother. We used to come down here when we were kids together. We come to Englishtown, to the fucking mall, to the Englishtown yard, whatever the fuck, the swap meet. And we'd buy hot sneakers and listen to BTO, fucking taking care of business. We were kids. And he was a little older than me. He drove, you know, but he drove when he was 16. He didn't give a fuck, this guy. That's how bad he was as a motherfucker. So this, you know, he called me again like a month later. He's like, hey, man, it's over. You can't keep stealing. And I'm like, brother, come on. You got, in fact, his younger brother got me a job when my mother died at a lumber yard and told me right out, listen, do me a favor. If I quit, you got to keep stealing because I can't let them know that I was robbing. Because if I didn't steal, then they'll go, what the fuck is going on? We would, you know, all this shit was missing. So he goes, you got to keep, this is from a family that told me to keep stealing. Now the older brother's like, yeah, to stop stealing. I'm like, dog, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not fucking doing it. He's like, do it again. We're going to have a problem. So what did I do a week later? I fucking did it again. Because he was my brother. Like, he ain't going to fucking hurt me. We're going to talk about this shit. But the last time he came to me, he was going to hurt me. That's how crazy he was at the time, you know. And I don't know if I stopped stealing. I don't know how it ended. I think they changed the door locks. Well, I don't fucking know. I just know I never got a call back one day. But it was so weird to walk in there when you're such a young kid. Like, I can't, fucking high school, Mike. When I was sitting there, and I'm sitting there, you ever see like a movie and there's like a flashback scene? Like, that's what I had. Like, who the fuck would hire me at 18 years old to make...
81, I guess. People didn't give a fuck. It wasn't a law, but you had to be 21.
I think it was 18. When I first started drinking in Jersey, it was 18 because I remember my friends would steal their brother's licenses and then sell the replacement license. They didn't have paper. They didn't have your picture on them. So it was a lot easier to fucking drink back then than it is now. You know, I guess. I don't fucking know. But just the whole thought of that, me standing there for 20 minutes eating hot dogs going. And I remember one time, like, I was just looking at the thing, and all of a sudden some guy beeped him, and he goes, Joey's back in Union City. Because that was my whole, you know, Union City. Like, I know one of the guys up there that's a commissioner with dear friends. He's the guy that got me my first Johnson & Johnson COVID shot. I mean, we're really tight. And I've been to Union City at night. It looks great. Like, it looks beautiful. But you got to see this. This place has so much history that nobody talks about. It's an old Irish town first. Then the Cubans started coming in because of embroidery in like the late 40s and the 50s. And they all lived together. There's a bus station there. It was so blue collar. If you watch The Irishman, that's where the guy's bar was. From The Irishman that made whatever disappear. You know, it had so much rich history. Fidel Castro got arrested there in Union City. That's where he started his revolution. Union City, New Jersey, Tampa, Florida, and fucking, you know, Miami. I mean, it's such a fucking historic town. I could tell you like, I went to a Christmas party a few years ago, and some kid said he was from Union City at the party. Him and I got into a 40-minute conversation about what Union City used to be. It was like a fucking haven, man, of fun. Just a fucking Bergen Line Avenue. If you don't know anything about Bergenline Avenue, you better ask somebody, motherfucker. It runs from 7th Street all the way up to fucking 88th Street to Nungesses. And I mean, Union City has Bergenline up to 48th Street. Then it becomes West New York. Then West New York becomes North Bergen. But that Bergenline, I got so much history on Bergenline. Like, I would love to park the car and just walk down. Like, the best Cuban sandwich in the country is 52nd and Palisade Avenue. Everybody knows that. That's hands down as organic, old school, and old-fashioned. In fact, he makes Cuban sandwiches 2 ways. Pre-revolution with pepperoni for the Italians and fucking without pepperoni for the non-Italians. That's when you know a guy knows his fucking Cuban history. That's the time of shit you'll see. The problem is now I'm so out of touch with that because I'm not up on those streets no more walking the fuck around. But I'll tell you one thing, when I was standing there, even the fucking steak on a stick, I've had steak on a stick in New York City from, you know, nice little Mohammed guys that they're just nice guys. And the steak on a stick, it's kind of weird. This fucking steak on a stick, Mike, it was like eating your mom's fucking beef stew. That's those steak chunks, those beef chunks. Oh, my God. And he soaks them in barbecue and Frank's hot sauce, whatever you want. There was brothers coming up there. Everybody was stopping and getting 2, 3, 4 fucking one of those sticks. I'm like, I got to stop back up there again. But fucking Union City just has so, like, when I started reading like the T.J. English book about battle, I didn't know that they had car bombs in Union City, but I remember being a kid and there was a Russian guy that taught judo in Union City on 7th Street, you know. There's a fucking kung fu school in Union City that's been there for over 40 years. Fu Jiao Pai Kung Fu. It used to be on top of the Carvel, bottom of the fucking barrel. For anybody who knows, bottom of the barrel is in Goodfellas, the book. Wise Guy, they used to hang out at bottom of the barrel in Union City. I'm telling you, this is a fucking historic little town that nobody talks about. And while I was sitting there the other day, I'm looking at the old buildings on the corner of 29th and 30th and whatever that fucking street is, Bergenline. You could still see in the bricks there was a florist there. From the time I was a kid, he was the nicest guy in the world. His name was Chappie. And that was the name of his florist shop, Chappie's Floral Shop. I could name that whole block when I was a kid, 29th Street, from my mother's bar on the corner to Speakerman's Bakery, which is one of the best bakeries I fucking ever ate at. Next to that was a sneaker store when we were kids. They used to sell Coach Cons, which were the cheaper Converse for $7.99. Converse for $9.99. If your mom got you Coach Cons, oh, you got beat the fuck up. Coach Cons, and then next to it was fucking Chappie's Flowers. So